Your paycheck finally drops into your bank account like a gift from the money gods. You whip out the banking app, your eyes light up at that shiny four-digit number staring back at you, and for exactly those blissful 3 seconds, you're untouchable. Pure, unadulterated wealth vibes washing over you. Then, like clockwork, the cold splash of reality hits hard. Rent's due tomorrow, knocking at the door with eviction notices in hand. By Tuesday morning, your car started that ominous rattling noise again. The one that screams, "Emergency mechanic bill incoming." You made that solemn promise to your best friend about hitting the bars or the game this weekend. Because why not celebrate a little? And somehow, by the time Thursday rolls around, you're huddled over a steaming bowl of cheap ramen noodles from the discount bin, scraping the last pennies together and genuinely baffled at how it all disappeared into thin air once more. Does this vicious cycle sound painfully familiar? Yeah, I thought so. My name is Buffet. And let me tell you, I've invested way too much of my life. Countless late nights, spreadsheets upon spreadsheets, books stacked high, figuring out the brutal truth behind why payday feels like unwrapping presents on Christmas morning, full of joy and possibility, but somehow morphs into this endless financial purgatory by the very next Wednesday. The core problem here? It's not that you're scraping by on some pitiful salary that barely covers basics. No, the real villain is that you're doing absolutely everything backwards when it comes to handling your money. You're treating that hard-earned paycheck like a casual suggestion from your bank. Hey, spend it however, instead of treating it like the high-stakes strategy session it desperately needs to be. And this backwards thinking, this lack of structure, isn't just annoying, it's actively costing you your financial future, one impulse buy at a time. If you're the kind of person who logs into their banking app, sees the balance and thinks, wait, where the hell did it all go? With no real answers? Or if you've ever caught yourself repeating that classic line, I'll just save whatever's left over at the end of the month, only to stare at empty coffers every single time, then do me a favor. Smash that like button right now. Hit subscribe if you haven't, and stick around. Because what we're about to unpack today sounds deceptively simple on the surface, but it'll completely rewire how you think about, talk about, and most importantly, act on your money. We're talking about the power of eating the frog on payday. Now, hold on a second. Before you start picturing me in some wild ritual chomping on actual amphibians as the secret to striking it rich, let me clarify where this comes from. There's this game-changing book by Brian Tracy called Eat That Frog, and the core idea is brutally, beautifully simple. Always tackle the hardest, most important, most intimidating task first thing. That frog, it's the ugly, slimy, stomach-churning thing you've been procrastinating on forever. In the world of everyday productivity, it's often that massive report, that awkward email chain, or that project everyone's dodging. But when we zoom in on your paycheck, the lifeblood of your finances, the frog transforms into something most people never even consider, let alone do. The frog, my friends, is paying yourself first. Let me paint the picture of what the average person does the instant that direct deposit notification pings their phone. They fire off the rent payment to keep the roof over their head. They dash to the store for a full fridge of groceries. They swing by the station to fill up the gas tank for the commute grind. They hit the drive-thru for that essential morning coffee fix. They scrape together the minimum payment on those nagging credit cards to avoid the late fees. And then, if there's literally anything resembling scraps left floating around at the bottom of the account, maybe, just maybe, they toss a few bucks into savings as an afterthought. But here's the mathematical reality that's going to absolutely blow your mind wide open and make you rethink everything. If you keep waiting around to save whatever's left over, there will mathematically, psychologically, and inevitably never be anything left over. It's a universal law. Your expenses, they don't stay static. They magically, insidiously expand like a balloon, inflating to consume every last dollar you bring in, no matter how much you earn. This isn't about you being flawed or undisciplined or bad with money. This is straight human nature colliding head-on with basic principles of economics, and the result is predictable disaster. The wealthy, the ones who actually build lasting fortunes, they do the exact opposite. They eat the frog first, without hesitation. The very moment their income hits the account, before bills, before groceries, before life, they pay themselves. They funnel money straight into investments that grow. They beef up their savings buffers. They treat their future selves like the single most critical creditor on the the planet, more important than landlords or utilities or lenders. And here's a nugget about frogs you can't ignore. They don't get any easier to swallow if you keep putting it off. Nope, they just get bigger, uglier, and more impossible to handle as time drags on. So let's get hyper practical here. What does eating the frog actually look like in the messy chaos of real adult life, with all its curveballs and urgencies?
It means the absolute first transaction you make on payday isn't beaming money to your landlord or the grocery chain or the gas pump. It's a direct wire to your investment accounts, to your dedicated emergency fund, to the future version of you who's counting on this discipline right now. Before you pay a single bill that could wait a day, before you buy a single frivolous thing that feels necessary in the moment. And I can already hear the chorus of objections building in your head. Buffet, that all sounds amazing in a perfect world, but come on, I have real bills piling up. I have mouths to feed, responsibilities that don't sleep. I can't just ignore them like they don't exist. You're 100% right. Those bills and duties are real. They're pressing, and they demand attention. But here's the massive blind spot where 95% of people's financial plans go straight off the rails.
They treat every single expense as if it's created equal, as if they're all non-negotiable emergencies. They lump their Netflix subscription in the same bucket as their actual rent payment. They file their everyday Starbucks habit right alongside their health insurance premiums. This mindset, it's financial suicide on installment payments, slow and steady. If you truly want to start building real wealth, not just scraping by, you need to get brutally, painfully honest about the razor-sharp line separating what you absolutely need from what you merely want. Let me break this down, step by excruciating step, because this is precisely where most well-intentioned financial plans shatter into a million pieces. Your true, non-negotiable necessities boil down to just 5 categories: stable housing to keep the elements out, basic, nutritious food to fuel your body, reliable transportation to get you where you need to go, essential utilities to keep the lights on and water running, and healthcare to stay alive and functional. That's the absolute short list. Nothing more. Everything else, not necessities, not even close. That premium cable package with 500 channels you barely watch, luxury in disguise. The trendy meal delivery service that shows up gourmet style, want, not need. The fancy gym membership you hit twice a month before guilt fades, pure luxury masquerading as self-care. And here's the golden target number that has the power to utterly transform your financial trajectory if you hit it consistently. Your genuine necessities should never exceed 60% of your take-home pay. I said 60%, not 80%, not 90%, not whatever it takes, exactly 60%. Let me hammer this home with some crystal clear math that proves beyond doubt why the save what's left approach is a recipe for lifelong brokenness. Imagine you bring home $4,000 a month after taxes. Solid middle-class take-home in many places. Stick to the traditional, frog-ignoring advice and watch this unfold. Rent clocks in at $1,400. Utilities nibble $150. Groceries run $400. Student loans demand $400. Car payment siphons $300. Insurance premiums take $200. Gas guzzles $100. Phone bill $80. Tally it up, and suddenly you're staring down less than $1,000 left in the tank. That might feel like breathing room at first glance. Plenty for life, right? Wrong. Then the oil change pops up at $150. Your friend texts about grabbing dinner out, $60 gone. Birthday gifts for family, $100 easy. Unexpected work clothes, another $75. And just like that, your buffer evaporates to a measly $200 if you're lucky, leaving you white-knuckling to month's end. But what if you dared to flip the entire script on its head? What if, the instant that $4,000 notification buzzes, your very first move is to ruthlessly transfer $800 straight to your investment accounts and high-yield savings? Now you force the remaining $3,200 to stretch across every other demand in your life. Abruptly, that cozy $1,400 apartment starts feeling outrageously overpriced. Maybe it's time for a roommate or a cheaper spot. That $300 car payment, suddenly questionable.
Could you downsize to something paid off? Groceries at $400? Time to get creative with meal preps, bulk buys, and coupons. Subscriptions, audited, and axed without mercy. I know. The objections are flying fast now. Buffet, you clearly don't get my reality. My rent alone devours 60% of my check. It's insane out here. My car payment is straight up strangling me every month. I live in one of those skyrocketing, expensive cities where basics cost a fortune. Look, I've been there. I've heard it all, and I genuinely get the frustration. Life is brutally expensive in 2024, no denying it. But if your rock-bottom necessities are chewing through more than 60% of your income month after month, you don't have an income problem at its root. You have a lifestyle problem. Full stop. And lifestyle problems don't get fixed with wishes or side hustles alone. They demand lifestyle solutions, tough as they are. That might mean hunting for a roommate on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace to split that rent burden. It might mean trading in the flashy lease for a reliable beater you own outright. It might even mean biting the bullet and relocating to a lower-cost area where your dollars stretch further. I know that's the last thing you want to hear right now. It stings, it disrupts, it's uncomfortable. But here's the brutal, unvarnished truth that nobody in the feel-good finance world ever bothers to shout from the rooftops. Building actual sustainable wealth requires you to know exactly where every single solitary dollar in your possession goes each and every month. Not approximately, not roughly, not close enough. Exactly. Most people operate in this hazy fog. They have a vague, gut-level sense that money flows in and mysteriously flows out. But if you sat them down and asked for a precise breakdown, they'd draw a total blank. This is exactly like someone trying to drop 20 pounds without ever stepping on a scale, tracking a single calorie, or measuring portions. You might stumble into results through sheer luck or willpower, but the odds are stacked sky high against you. Sustainable change demands precision. You have to account for every dollar. The $5 coffee that just happens, the forgotten $12 a month app sub, the $3 impulse gum at the checkout, the $20 Uber because walking felt too hard. I'm not preaching total deprivation. You can absolutely still buy these things. The difference, do it consciously, with eyes wide open, because unconscious autopilot spending is the silent assassin of anyone trying to build serious wealth. When you lose track of where your money vanishes, it scatters everywhere except the places that actually propel you forward. Once you've wrapped your head around your full spending picture, once you've ruthlessly culled true needs from disguised wants, once you've locked in that unbreakable commitment to paying yourself first every time, then we can layer on the order of operations. Because just like mathematics has that sacred PEMDAS order dictating whether your equation spits out the right answer or gibberish, money management has its own unbreakable sequence that spells the difference between compounding wealth and compounding regret. Step 1, and this can't be emphasized enough, hits before you touch anything else in your account. You pay yourself first. No negotiations, no exceptions. But step 2 is just as non-negotiable and often overlooked. You stay 100% current on all your debt payments. Notice I specified stay current, not pay off every dime tomorrow. There's a world of difference. Minimum payments on every loan, card, whatever, delivered on time, every time. Your credit score? It's one of the most underrated superpowers in your financial arsenal. One single missed or late payment can torch years of diligent building, slamming doors on better rates for homes, cars, even insurance down the line. I get the temptation. Skipping a credit card min to pad your savings that month feels smart, right? Or delaying the car note to invest instead? Don't, ever. Protecting and nurturing that credit score isn't optional fluff. It's the unshakable bedrock everything else stands on. A stellar score saves you tens of thousands over a lifetime in lower interest and premiums. A trashed one? It bleeds you dry month after month, year after year. Step 3 shifts to fortifying your emergency fund. And this is where folks love to get creative with fuzzy definitions that sabotage them long term. An emergency fund isn't your slushy piggy bank for emergencies like that dream vacation discount or your cousin's destination wedding tab running hot. No, it's laser focused. Car totaled in a fender bender. Job evaporates overnight. Roof leaks during a storm. Medical curveball blindsides you. Immediate cash access, no questions. Park 3 to 6 months worth of your stripped-down essential expenses in the most boring, high-yield savings account you can find. Nothing flashy like stocks, crypto gambles, or hot opportunities. Boring, liquid, and ready to deploy. Why does this matter more than you might imagine? Your emergency fund isn't solely about weathering storms. It's the chain breaker that shatters the paycheck-to-paycheck trap for good. Without it, every pop-up expense morphs into a full-blown catastrophe. Brakes fail? Slap it on the credit card. Interest clock starts. Phone drowns? Finance a replacement over 24 months. Cat needs emergency surgery? Hit up your equally strapped friend for a loan. Each crisis shoves you farther from wealth tracks and deeper into debt quicksand. But with that fund sitting pretty, predictable, and untouched, magic. Breaks? Pull from the pot. Pay the shop. Drive home. Life throws shade? Handle it. Move on. Zero drama, zero new debt, zero derailment of your master plan because some random Tuesday decided to test you. This is the invisible line dividing those who merely survive from paycheck to paycheck and those who steadily stack wealth for generations. Step 4 is where the excitement ramps up. This is retirement investing. And hear me loud. Whether you're a fresh-faced 22-year-old or a battle-hardened 52, this step is mandatory, non-skippable, do-it-yesterday territory. The most costly, regret-drenched phrases in personal finance: I'll start investing when I'm older. I'll catch up on retirement later. Or my absolute rage inducer: I don't make enough right now to bother with investing. Allow me to eviscerate that last myth with kindergarten-level math you can't argue. If you commit $100 a month, starting at age 25, riding a conservative 7% annual return, historical stock market average after inflation, you'll be sitting on over $260,000 by 65. Delay that identical $100 per month habit until 35? Congrats! You've halved it to about $130,000. A single decade of procrastination literally slices your nest egg in half, courtesy of lost compound interest. Time isn't just money when building wealth. It's the ultimate multiplier you can't manufacture or buy back, but you can harness it starting today, right this second. Now, the part that makes my blood boil. If your employer dangles a 401k match and you're not maxing contributions to snag every penny of it, you are voluntarily torching free money. This isn't esoteric guru advice. It's idiot-proof arithmetic. Say your company matches 50% up to 6% of salary. You contribute less than 6%, you're flushing a guaranteed raise. Roughly 40% of American workers pull this stunt. Painful translation: 50K earner with 3% match unclaimed, $1,500 per year freebies ignored. Over 30 years, nearly $300,000 compounded gone. You scoff at $300 per month for retirement, but drop it on coffees, Amazon clicks, zombie subs you forgot, $40 dinner oblivion versus 30-year security? Come on. Target 10% of gross income to retirement. Not net, gross, including matches. 60K salary, $6K per year, or $500 per month, auto-deducted, pre-spend temptation. And please, mercy on compound interest. Skip stocks, timing, meme coins, index funds, S&P 500, Vanguard, total market. 10% average over 90 years. Depressions, wars, crashes, bubbles, all survived. Buy broad, hold eternal, live free. Step 5 unleashes the beast. Annihilate non-mortgage debt with the righteous fury of someone waking up to years wasted feeding card sharks. Common sabotage? Over-engineering. Spreadsheets juggling rates, mins, ROI hypotheticals. Stop. 2 paths. Debt snowball, smalls first, psych momentum, or avalanche, high interest first, math edge. Avalanche saves cash, snowball feeds fire. Personality pick, ironclad execute. Flaky switches kill. Snowball quarter, avalanche hype, Guru invest overpay, scattershot nada. Method secondary to machine gun consistency. Ink the plan. Eradicate. No shortcuts. No 0% transfers sans monk vows. Most flop. Banks designed it.
Victory cascade? Raise lands? No auto-inflate. 50% savings invest boost, 25% debt accelerator, 25% lifestyle flex. Pay rises, wealth rises. Debt cleared, payment snowballs to next target or pots. No extra fun leak. Dollar reassigned. Debt slave to wealth warrior. 30K earner or 300K exec. Principles stale identical. Self-pay prime. Track ruthless. Credit fortress. Reserves robust. Future fueled. Debt demolished. Evolve fluid. Unsexy. Incremental. Reliable riches trump lotto dreams. Broke eternity? No system. Impulse roulette. Emotion whims. Tavern tales from peers. Cash demystified. Out-earn spend. Invest delta. Shun stupid. Wait patiently. Cage too tight? Budget does not equal austerity hell. Ramen hermit? Myth. Intentional, haphazard. Wealthy's joy spend pre-planned, zero chains. System equals serenity. Self-pay secured, bills buttoned, reserves rising, fund allocation clear, splurge liberated, no future theft guilt. Reverse torture, fund blitz, bill panic, save despair, buy remorse cycle. Anxiety in lifestyle drag. Frog dawn ritual, brain shift, victim to victor. Puppet to puppeteer, scarcity slave to abundance architect. Frog flea fallout, procrastinator prison, next cycle. Raise secured, one debt slain, ideal mirage, eternal chase. Snap decision, perpetual poverty spin or frog choker resolve. Next deposit dawn, self-devour. Blueprint blast. Future you salutes 2 decades out, espresso luxury, while crew laments ledgers. Gulp grim, liberty luscious beyond.